3.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Idiomatic Top 3.
With Nicholas, I am the gaming correspondent for Idiomatic.
And I am Dimitri, editor-in-chief of Idiomatic.com and movie critic. Not that that's gonna help us in any way, because I don't know where I was going with that sentence.
And I didn't even interrupt you to talk about the the Wii on the floor there. Come on.
Today we're gonna talk about something that's a little bit more in your field of expertise, isn't it?
Because we're talking about video games remakes.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little top 3 with a bonus item. We're gonna talk about the video games that we want to see remade, and one item that we would rather not.
Yes.
So let's do top 3 video games that we want to see remade.
Okay. My number 3, Silver Surfer for the NES. Not because it was a great game. It had potential. It was just too insanely hard. You can't survive more than 30 seconds in that game unless you practice and practice and practice and just play months at a time. Just remake it a little easier. You might be effing with the spirit of the game because everybody knows Silver Surfer to be like one of the hardest game ever made. But really, the point is to play and have fun. So just remake it. Make it easy.
I would say give an option. Give an option as vulnerable to environment or not vulnerable to environment.
Yes.
You know, so if you want to play old school, you still can and brag about it and maybe put your scores on the internet boards.
Yeah.
And be a real smart aleck about it. And if you want to just progress into the games and just beat enemies and not have to worry about, does that graphic count or not, environment immunity.
Yes. And, more than one shot to kill you. Maybe 3.
Now you're just effing with the spirit.
Yeah, alright, fine.
Yeah, I'm not convinced Silver Surfer has as much potential as you say, as you claim it has.
Yeah, it has to be fixed. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Alright, well, my pick for my number 3 is X-Men the arcade game. That's the beat-em-up from the late 80s and early 90s that featured the cast from the failed pilot Pride of the X-Men.
Yes.
With Dazzler in it, the only game you'll ever see with Dazzler in it.
Dazzler was awesome.
I don't know why people are so down on Dazzler. She was awesome. She fought crime in roller skates.
Yeah.
But that arcade game kicked butt, man. It was awesome. And I'd love to see it come back with maybe a little bit enhanced power-ups. And the graphics are great, but make it fully animated,
Yeah, because I remember the part when you use your special ability, you lost health.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fun. You're a mutant. You're supposed to be able to use your special ability.
I don't. Yeah, maybe a second bar, a mutant ability bar as well.
Yeah,
it would be kind of cool. And also the mechanics are pretty. They're pretty standard. There's one button to punch and one button to use your powers,
and one to jump. Yeah, so it was that. Those are fun beat 'em ups. Bring it back. I agree.
Yeah. I love that, and keep the same cast, man. It's don't bring Gambit or anything. Keep that retro cast. Maybe as bonus characters down the line,
Reminds me of a wrestling game that I used to play a lot, like WrestleFest, also for the arcade. It was great. I followed a lot of wrestling back then. It was those wrestlers, and it wasn't like a Street Fighter thing where you had to do special moves and you had to know all the moves of the guys by heart, like half a turn and press BAC. No. Your special, the guy was beaten up enough, you just press one button and you did your special ability and you beat him. And that was fun. And you need to bring that back, and not those games where you have to know every moves by heart. So bring another game like that from the arcade.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh yeah, no, it should be super fun, and that's totally a game that I could see on Virtual Console.
Yeah, and they're hard to come by. Where are you going to find the X-Men arcade game? Now, you're going to go buy an arcade machine and play it?
Although I think it might be on the Virtual Console.
Okay.
As a direct port, but they didn't really do anything to it.
Oh, no, they need to jazz it up a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah.
No, I really think, start with the original characters and have bonus characters that are, the newer X-Men.
Yeah.
Because, come on, people want to play with those other X-Men as well. Who doesn't want to play with Jubilee?
Me?
Alright, moving on.
Alright. My number 2 is online role-playing game I used to play, Star Wars Galaxies. What happened to this game is the developers, they saw the huge success of another game, World of Warcraft, and they decided, we want that. They didn't have enough subscriptions, so they changed the game completely, didn't warn any of their fan base, and they pretty much thought, we're going to lose all the players we have now, but with this different game, we'll be able to compete with World of Warcraft. And they failed completely at it.
That's the one where they killed off like some pretty fun jobs that would not be appealing on a marketing level, right?
Yeah, exactly. You had like 32 professions you could do. They shrunk it down to 8. To give like an example for those who would be more familiar with movies, people complain in Return of the Jedi that putting the young Anakin Skywalker, like Hayden Christensen, it fucked the ending, and the ending is completely wrong. Well, what they did to the game, imagine in the ending instead if Han Solo saw Leia, and he said, nobody puts baby in a corner, and they start doing a musical number at the end. That's what they did, you know.
Who would watch that?
Yes, but that completely messes the movie. That's fucking with the ending, really. And that's pretty much what they did. They completely changed the game. It wasn't even recognizable anymore.
That must be super frustrating, especially since this was a paid subscription, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're subscribing for a game, and then you're getting a completely different game. It's...
Yeah. Even worse, an expansion for that game had come out 2 weeks beforehand.
Ooh.
So you buy the expansion, and then 2 weeks later, no, they changed the game completely. I think under threat of lawsuit, they paid back the people who wanted the reimbursement. They gave it back, but still, it was pretty hard.
Yeah, no, and it's such a hassle.
Yeah.
But how would you approach a remake of that?
A remake is actually underway. I'm not sure if it's very legal or not. It's called Star Wars Galaxy Emulation. And they're basically trying to backwards engineer the game to make it like it was before the huge change. So you can actually, play how it was before it changed completely. Not 100% sure of the legality of it, because the game kind of belongs to LucasArts and Sony Online Interactive. So I'm not sure the legality of it or not. I'm going to have to check into that. But they're really working very hard on remaking it how it was originally and how people liked it originally. This is a very basic remake. Make the game how it was before you messed it up.
Yeah, most of us feel the same way about the Star Wars movies.
Exactly. Alright, so what's your number 2?
Now, my number 2 is Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventure. Now, this game came out in the GameCube, and it is actually a classic 2D Zelda game.
Cool.
Yeah, top view, nothing changed. None of that polygon 3D stuff that I really can't get into.
Okay.
And the cool thing about it, it was a multiplayer Zelda game. So you could have 4 links running around and having to solve puzzles by cooperating, but at the same time, because there are only a limited number of rupees and items, also backstabbing each other at key moments.
Nice.
It's a super fun game. The downside of it is that for the game to work, you had to have the GameCube for the main screen that would appear on your TV, but also you had to connect the Game Boy Advance to it. Each player had to have one Game Boy Advance and connect it to it.
Okay.
So that when they went into a dungeon, that would go into the Game Boy Advance, and the other player couldn't see what they're doing.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah, and it's a great mechanic. You could see why they did that. But it is sort of a cumbersome one because you need a handheld and the thing, and it's impossible to port on the Wii now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now that they've released the Wii U, which is a really silly name,
Wii U.
It's weird. It's like I prefer to call it Cafe. I think I'm gonna call it Cafe or Coffee. I don't remember.
Okay.
Which was the code name for it?
Yeah.
But anyway, so the Wii U, what they have is exactly that. The remote is a handheld device, essentially. It has a touch screen with the joystick components on the sides of it, and with all the capabilities of the Wii remote, but with a screen in the center of it. It looks actually pretty uncomfortable, but but what it can do is recreate that same experience of playing Four Swords Adventure. So I would love to see a remake of Four Swords Adventure for the Wii U, because that game was awesome.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Well, I can see how they could do it now with internet play, as in you each have your TV, and you play your own thing on your TV, But again, if you're trying to have people at your place, you each need your own TV, so that that's also becomes very cumbersome.
But you're right about online play, right? That's a very good point.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they couldn't do this.
Yeah.
Darn it. Let's move on to our number one, I guess, then.
Number one, mine is a toss. They could redo either one of them, either Metroid or Super Metroid. Those were a series of games I really like. Metroid. You find new weapons, it opens new areas of you to explore, and you can get more. You have a huge map to explore, solve mazes and fight monsters. It was really fun. Then they ported it to 3D, and I can't play that game. It's too fast and gives me headaches. I don't know why. It might be my medical condition, but still.
You're talking about Metroid Prime.
Yeah, Metroid Prime and all the sequels like that. I can't play them. They just give me headaches. I can play them for like 20 minutes at a time and I have to stop. It's too bad because they're really fun, but I can't play them. So I'd really like them to go back and, remake those.
Well, actually, they have sequels that are still in 2D in the handhelds. The Metroid Fusion series that was on the Game Boy Advance. They have, I think, 3 titles in there.
Okay.
And they're classic 2D Metroid games.
Okay. I'll look into those. But yeah, the last one I really played, I really enjoyed was Super Metroid. Because that one, you really had like the puzzles. Oh, I can't really go here. What do I do? Oh, you have to backtrack, and I have to find the suit of armor. Now I can do it. And that was really fun. And I know some Castlevania games are that way too. That's why they're called Metroidvania. But I'm really more interested in Metroid than Castlevania, so that's why I'm looking, for remake those. Those were great. People like them. They're not the 3D thing. Just go back to making those 2D things. Remake the original. The original was very hard. It was insanely hard. Remake it, with nicer graphics, a map. A map would be so useful in the first one that you don't have to draw yourself. Just a map. That's all I asked for in the first one.
And controls that are just a tiny bit more responsive.
The controls weren't that bad.
Trying to jump up the towers there was impossible with those controls, man.
Yeah, okay, maybe. Yeah, because the fact that she spins and when she jumps, you really don't have no control of where she's going, you're right. So, yeah, better controls and a map. All I'm asking for.
Yeah. You mentioned that you prefer Metroid to Castlevania, and it's like, shocking. The science fiction fan prefers the series about an alien bounty hunter than the one with really obscure horror movie references from the Hammer years. Shocking! No,
it's because the hero's a girl and I'm equal opportunity. That's why I like them more.
Oh, come on. The hero in at least one of the Castlevania games is a vampire, and they're girls.
They're for girls, but they're not girls.
Oh, no, I look at Pattinson and they're girls.
Yeah.
With very thick eyebrows.
Alright, so on that note, what is your number one?
Actually, before you get to that, I just want to point out one thing, because you named this game and you brought up an interesting thing about the 3D and the 2D level. And that's one thing I have been arguing for a very long time, and it seems that the game designers are starting to catch up with that, is that 2D gameplay is different than 3D gameplay, and it's not over. It's just a different gaming experience. I'm not anti-3D, because it's not my youth, but
yeah.
When they all jump to 3D and stop making 2D platformers and games like that, it always seemed weird to me because the game mechanics are so different.
Yeah.
It is a different animal. It's not, one is not a progression of the other at all.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm glad they're starting to make both, and the idea of remaking a couple of those classic 2D games so that they can match the 3D level of graphic I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
But yes, let's move on to my number one pick for games that we want to see remade. Phantasmagoria.
Really?
For those of you who don't know it, that's a computer game from, I think, 1995. I could be wrong about the date.
It wasn't when this whole CD thing came along, the Sega CD thing. So now you can have games on the CD where you're basically watching bad movies, right?
Oh, was it a console game first? I thought it was a computer game.
It was a computer game, but it came out with during this whole CD thing.
Yeah, it's an interactive movie. Is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
And I never finished it because I got it really late. I got it. It was almost starting the aughts almost.
Okay.
And I got it. It was for Windows 95, and then I no longer have Windows 95. So
You were lucky to get it to work with the Windows 95s anyway.
But it was actually a really interesting game, and it's known for its controversy for having, I think, a rape scene, in it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind them getting rid of that. To a certain degree, horror, especially in a game, should be fun.
Yeah.
You put rape in there, and my fun is gone.
I agree.
And yes, rape is horrifying, and it is a horror game, but there's such a thing as fictional fun horror and real-life terrifying horror that I don't really want to stick around with.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, the game was fun. The woman had giganto jugs. I think that's what I remember most of that. I was young.
Yeah.
But the storyline was actually kind of cool. It had demon. It was a haunting and thing, and I would love to see that. But in a sense, like move away a little bit from the interactive movie aspect of it, or rather make it so that the cutscenes interact a little bit more fluidly with the gameplay aspects of it, so that it doesn't there's a movie, there's you walking in with graphics that look really dumb, and then there's a movie again. Like, make it a little bit more fluid.
But you need it to be real life actors, because some games do have a lot of cutscenes, like 3D cutscenes.
I think it works better with real life actors because that's sort of cool.
Okay, I see.
Because it makes the horror a little bit more palpable for obvious reasons. Anime character gets killed, like, whatever. A real woman in danger. I feel a little bit more for her.
Yeah, you're gonna get so many angry letters from Final Fantasy VII players.
But there is a way to do it, because when they did the motion cap type thing with Mortal Kombat, you could fake a 3D real life person doing that as long as you limit the movements you can do. And since the Phantasmagoria game are a lot more, plot and decision based than actually quick movement based, you could get away with just that kind of movement.
It's not like Total Recall when you have fake fights, two people fighting, and you just have one guy duking it out, just bobbing in front of you like an idiot, and you see your fist coming out, and that looks bad. Fighting games, that's bad. Real people fighting games.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. No, I want to see that, and I want to see what I'd love to see is actual horror directors get involved in that. I would love to see, one of the up-and-coming horror directors, because these guys, horror directors, they deal in B-movie mostly, or independent films. They don't get really that much of a paycheck anyway, so a video game salary, I think, would fit them just fine and get into that, and get, some real production value and just artistic vision in there. That would be pretty freaking awesome.
Okay.
Vincenzo Vitili would be great. He did the movie Splice and Cube. It'd be great to try that out. I would love to see that.
Let's give him a call.
Yeah, let's give him a call. So that's my number one pick. I want to see a horror movie. And something a little bit more evolved than House on Haunted Hill 2, which was an interactive DVD movie.
Yeah.
You gotta check this out one day. It's pretty freaking hilarious. It's an interactive DVD movie where every once in a while you can make decisions for the characters in the movie, and the movie progresses differently according to it.
Well, that sounds fun, but it's not really involved gameplay though.
Exactly. But you gotta check that out. It was just my way of side plugging this.
Okay, I see.
I had an ulterior motive.
Well played.
Alright then, so we talk about the movies that the games that we want to see remade. So let's just go for your top game that you don't want to see remade.
Well, mine is for a reason that it's not going to work. It should not remake EverQuest. They're up to 10 or 15 extra expansions that you just add to the original game.
Have they gone to Myrrh yet? Because, they have gold, platinum. Have they gone to Myrrh?
Myrrh, I don't know. I still don't know what Myrrh is, so... Instant, they burned it, so it's not... But, I know in one expansion, they tried to upgrade the graphics. In Shadow of Brooklyn, they tried to upgrade the graphics. Everybody hated the new graphics. They tried to make the characters look better. Mm-hmm. It's a less cartoon. This is not EverQuest anymore. This is just ridiculous. And even EverQuest 2. It always gets compared to EverQuest, as in, they have the same zone. It happened after a big cataclysm that the world got mostly destroyed. and you go explore a zone that you used to go see in EverQuest, and you always the comparison, well, the original one looked better, or I like the original one better, so you're making the game with better everything's not going to work, because people have that thing ingrained in them where they like the old one. And I don't think, it's going to change. They keep putting expansions, and I think that's the way to go. Just add extra stuff to the old one. That's the way to do it. Don't try and remake it. I think EverQuest 2 was pretty much a mistake on their part. They should have just kept on with EverQuest and just making it better. And that's it.
It's funny, game designers often make that mistake of trying to edgeify things with the graphics when they want to update the graphics. It's like, oh, this is too cute. And I know where that comes from. It's because they made it cute because they didn't have the graphic possibilities to make it anything else than cute. Because it's way easier to make a little Peanuts character look good than to make a fully realized, serious-looking person.
Yeah.
And now that they have the means, they keep trying to make it serious, but they forget that, like, the cute has its appeal. I'd rather watch Peanuts than a lot of live-action things,
Yeah.
I'm reminded of Bomberman when they made the remake of that. Oh, that was terrible. Because Bomberman is the cutest thing ever. He has a tiny body and a giant ninja head with an antenna on it. Like, he's so cute! And they turned it into, like, this cyber arena of death with, like human beings that are half machines because they blew up so often, running around in a gritty maze where into a violent gladiator game where they're gonna die. And I'm like,
no,
I don't want to play this. And there's so many things wrong with that, because first of all, I like cute Bomberman. That's one of the reasons. The second is, like, when cute Bomberman dies, I don't believe in it, because he just looks like a balloon popping. It's like, it's not real.
Yeah.
When you have, like, this, I'm in this gritty world, and, like, it's like, so what you're saying is that while I'm playing this, I'm torturing people, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess so.
There's a reason why I bought Bomberman and not Saw the game,
Oh yeah, I remember the ogres. They were so ugly with their flat faces and just two teeth popping out. Then they made them look like fat humans, and you're like, no, it's not an ogre anymore.
It's a fat human.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a person of Walmart.
Actually, the original ogre looked like a person of Walmart.
For those of you wondering what we're talking about, check out peopleofwalmart.com.
Yes.
We're not making fun of people who actually shop at Walmart. I do.
I love Walmart.
Yeah, it's a fine shop.
Always low prices.
Yes, and always very long lines if you don't go at specific hours. My favorite activity on Friday nights would be to get hammered and then go shopping at Walmart. All the DVDs look so enticing.
You were one of those people of Walmart.
I totally was. Because I hate people. I hate shoppers especially. Yeah. So, like, the idea of going at 1, 2, 3 o'clock, oh yeah, there's, like, nobody there. I can just, like, browse the DVD section. And I'm half buzzed anyway, and I'm like, everything looks good. And it's like, oh wow, another Cinderella movie for $4? That looks like a good movie. It's got Gene Lynch in it. It's like, and then you sober up, it's like, no, that did not look like a good movie. What was I thinking?
But too bad you bought it.
Exactly. John Tucker Must Die. That looks awesome. I'm going to check that out. Oh, that's a terrible movie. But you know what? The joy of buying it when you're half drunk is worth the price of the movie. Because it's like $2, whatever.
Nice. And now, on that long aside, what is your number one?
Oh, right. We're doing a podcast. Yes. My top movie that I don't want to see remade is...
Video game. Top video game.
Video games. My top video game remake that I don't want to see made is a remake of Disney's Sing It Party Hits. Now, for those of you who don't know what that game is, and I'm guessing that is most of our audience.
Even me.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not surprised. But that game is a karaoke video game. That's a Sing It series.
Okay.
The Disney Sing It series is a karaoke game with, of course, songs that Disney owns. And the Party Hits one is songs that Disney owns that are marketed at the tweens and are, signed by pretty much the stars of the Disney Channel, Demi Lovato, Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, the Jonas Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they have the hits from those times. The reason why I don't want to see a remake of that is that, I'm sorry, but the expiry date on that game is pretty much 1 month ago.
Oh.
It's, they're pop hit songs that are there to capture the tweens of that time. And tweens, man, they change you go from 12, you love that stuff, to 13, this is stupid. In an instant. So why would you remake that?
Well, what if they use different songs?
That would be a sequel.
I guess.
They could do continuously, Disney Sing It Party Hits 2011, 2012, 2013. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Kind of like the Now CDs.
exactly like the Now CDs. The Now CDs are so awesome, and I own 4 of them.
Yeah.
They
were great at the time when you buy them. Like, these are awesome songs. Yeah. And then, 2 months later, it's like, ugh.
Exactly. And every single one of them, I have that reaction where it's like, I can't listen to this. This is terrible. Wannabe by the Spice Girls? Why do I even own a disc with that on it? That was Now 2.
I remember, though, Now 2, you said, besides that song, those are all great songs. You buy it. So, even when you bought it, you weren't sure about Wannabe.
Admittedly, it was a bad song even then.
Yeah. Alright.
Alright, well, on that note, if you have any questions, comments, want to share with us your favorite video game remakes or games that you'd love to see a remake of, you can write us at mail@idiomanic.com or post a comment right below the episode at idiomanic.com.
Yep. See you next week. 2, 3.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Idiomanic Top 3.
With Nicholas, I am the gaming correspondent for Idiomatic.
And I am Dimitri, editor-in-chief of Idiomatic.com and movie critic. Not that that's gonna help us in any way, because I don't know where I was going with that sentence.
And I didn't even interrupt you to talk about the Wii on the floor there. Come on.
Today we're going to talk about something that's a little bit more in your field of expertise, isn't it?
Because we're talking about video games remakes.
Yeah, we're going to do a little top 3 with a bonus item. We're going to talk about the video games that we want to see remade. Vulnerable to environment or not vulnerable to environment.
Yes.
So if you want to play old school, you still can and brag about it and maybe put your scores on the internet boards, and be a real smart aleck about it. And if you want to just progress into the games and just beat enemies and not have to worry about, does that graphic count or not, environment immunity.
Yes. And, more than one shot to kill you. Maybe 3.
Now you're just effing with the spirit.
Yeah, alright, fine.
Yeah, I'm not convinced Silver Surfer has as much potential as you say, as you claim it has.
Yeah, it has to be fixed. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Alright, well, my pick for my number 3 is X-Men the arcade game. That's the beat-em up from the late 80s and early 90s that featured the cast from the failed pilot Pride of the X-Men.
Yes.
With Dazzler in it, the only game you'll ever see with Dazzler in it.
Dazzler was awesome.
I don't know why people are so down on Dazzler. She was awesome. She fought crime in roller skates.
Yeah,
but that arcade game kicked butt, man. It was awesome, and I'd love to see it come back with maybe a little bit enhanced power-ups, and the graphics are great, but make it fully animated, And one item that we would rather not.
Yes.
So let's do top 3 video games that we want to see remade.
Okay. My number 3, Silver Surfer for the NES. Not because it was a great game. It had potential. It was just too insanely hard. You can't survive more than 30 seconds in that game unless you practice and practice and practice and just play months at a time. Just remake it a little easier. You might be effing with the spirit of the game because everybody knows Silver Surfer to be one of the hardest game ever made. But really, the point is to play and have fun. So just remake it, make it easy.
I would say give an option. Give an option is
Yeah, because I remember the part when you use your special ability, you lost health.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fun. You're a mutant. You're supposed to be able to use your special ability.
Yeah, maybe a second bar, like like a
Yeah.
mutant ability bar as well.
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool. And also the mechanics are pretty, they're pretty standard. There's one button to punch and one button to use your powers, and
And
that's
one
pretty
to
much
one to
it.
jump. Yeah. So it was that those are fun beat 'em ups. Bring it back. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. I love that, and keep the same cast, man. It's like don't bring Gambit or anything. Like keep that retro
Oh, yeah.
cast.
That
Maybe
reminds-
as bonus characters down the line,
Reminds me of like a wrestling game that I used to play a lot, like WrestleFest, also for the arcade. It was great. I followed a lot of wrestling back then. It was